What's going on, YouTubers? This is Buddy coming at you. Just a quick video. I wanted to talk about tank maintenance here today. Now, for me, I do this weekly. Weekly water changes for me helps me to better stay on top of the tank and help to maintain my tank better. Now, the first thing you want to do before you do a water change is get in there and stir up your sand bed. I think it's very important to remove all that settling detritus and uneaten food from the sand bed, especially where the rocks touch the sand, along the front and sides and back of the glass. To get in there and stir up the sand bed and remove all those particulates, all those fish poo and detritus from the sand bed. It's very important, guys, to do that. You know, it's going to help your sand bed thrive, look better, and it's going to make it so your sand bed does not become a nitrate factory over time, guys. I promise you, you do this and your sand bed will look beautiful for years to come and it be a functioning sand bed. I do not recommend siphoning out your sand bed. That is not a good idea unless you just want your sand bed for just aesthetics, just for looks. Then by all means, siphon away. Okay, second step is taking a turkey baster and blowing jets of water in all the crevices of the live rock, all the holes and all that. Make sure you get all that, as much of that food, fish poo, detritus out of the live rock, so your live rock doesn't become a phosphate factory. Okay, now phosphates will over time stick to the sand bed and stick to the live rock. And that's why it's important to stir up the sand bed and to clean out your live rock by blowing jets of water into the live rock to remove all that detritus out of the live rock, guys. Make that water as cloudy as possible before you do your water change. It's very important, guys. It really is. Now, New York Stilo made a good video on new and old tank syndrome. Now, if you don't want old tank syndrome, new tank syndrome, there's not much you can really do about it, mainly because of the simple fact that your aquarium's going to cycle. It's going to build it needs time to build that beneficial microfauna and organisms to help to break down the waste in the aquarium. So, and in doing that, you're going to grow nuisance algae into the aquarium, kickstarts, and is able to be a thriving ecosystem. But once the thriving ecosystem is there and it's established, it is your responsibility to maintain that thriving ecosystem. And by doing this, every time you do a water change, stirring up the sand bed, definitely make sure where the live rock hits the sand and around the front and sides and back of the aquarium, you definitely get in there and stir up that sand bed, especially in those areas. Those are going to be the areas where the flow is going to push all the fish poo and food into those areas, guys. It's very important to do that. I promise you. If you do this, you take these simple steps every time you do a water change, you will notice the health in your corals and your fish. The water quality is going to be much better. Now, even when I even take a turkey baster, and let me do a close-up here, and even dust off some of my corals. You know, my Zoa garden here, every time I do it, I see tons of detritus. Not tons, because I do it weekly, but I see detritus coming out of my Zoas here all the time. And that's going to help your corals thrive better too. Removing all the settling detritus and stuff that has landed on your corals. Now, they don't have a way of getting it off of them. They have a way of taking in food, but they don't have a way of removing uneaten or waste off of them. So it's important, and it's your job to do that. Now, our aquariums, no matter how much flow we put in there, we can never come near to what the ocean has. In the ocean, the current is what naturally would clean off the corals and keep remove all the waste from the rocks and off the sand bed. Now, our tanks don't have that type of strength, water movement. So it's very important that we get in there and we do that. We stir up our sand bed. Now, people are going to argue and say, well, you're killing off microfauna and stuff when you do that. When you stir up this live rock or the sand bed, you're killing off microorganisms and microfauna. Is that true? Yeah, it is true. It really is true. But you're killing off a very small amount. And by doing that, there's a lot. You're going to help the sand bed thrive better. You're going to help that microfauna and stuff populate even better. And it's going to keep the sand bed looking beautiful. Now, over time, the waste, the detritus and stuff is going to get onto that sand bed and eventually choke out the sand bed. And that's when the sand bed is no longer alive. It becomes a nitrate factory. And then the aquarium becomes unsightly to look at years down the road. So it is very important, guys, to stir up your sand bed, blow jets of water into your live rock and to remove all that detritus and uneaten food and fish poo out of your live rock, off your sand bed, and you will notice the difference in your health of the fish and corals, and your water quality be much better, guys. Now, if you have filter pads anywhere in your sumps or anything like that, every time you do a water change, take out your filter pads, wash them out, rinse them out, get them put back in there. Filter socks. I change out my filter sock every 3 days. Now, I think it's very important to stay on top of that too, guys. Alright, if you have any questions, any comments, you need help maintaining your aquarium, definitely leave me a message. Don't forget to hit the like button, and definitely hit that subscribe button. Alright guys, this is Buddy signing out. Happy reefing.